Hello everyone. Today I'm going to tell you a movie called The Mad Women's Ball 2021, based on real events. Enjoy watching. Many people, including a girl named Eugenie, are at the farewell ceremony with the famous writer Victor Hugo. But at one point, the girl begins to have a seizure. Fortunately, she manages to stop in time. The girl is late for dinner and begins to justify to her parents that she was at a friend's house. At this moment, her brother Theophile grins, knowing that his sister is lying. At one point, the guy starts talking about the upcoming debate and his sister asks his parents for permission to go with him. But the father refuses, explaining that it is not appropriate for a lady to participate in such an event. At night, Eugenie goes into the bathroom and she has another attack and starts talking to someone. The girl, noticing her grandmother, who is waiting for her granddaughter, takes control of herself again. In the morning, the guy goes to the debate, but in his transport he notices his sister, who disobeyed her father. But the girl says that she is not going there, but only asks to take her to the outskirts of the city, where she can read a book and smoke in secret from her parents. Although the guy does not approve of the girl's idea, he still does not refuse her sister's request. Eugenie comes to the cafe, and while reading a book, she notices a guy at the next table. A stranger decides to meet a girl. He lends her his book about spirits, on the first page of which there is a note with his name hidden. In the evening, while reading the book, Eugenie tells Theophile about her new acquaintance. The next morning, the family comes to visit Theophile's bride's estate, but as soon as Eugenie decided to make fun of her brother's bride, their father immediately begins to get angry, since this union is very important to him. On Christmas Eve, the brother and sister put up a Christmas tree, later climb into the attic to get Christmas decorations, but at that moment Eugenie has another attack and confesses to her brother that now she sees a lot of spirits, and not just one man as before. But the girl asks him not to be scared because she has a book in which it is written that there are actually a lot of people like her, so you can calm down. Eugenie combs and puts her grandmother to bed, but at one point she starts frantically sorting through things and finds a pendant that her grandmother lost 40 years ago. When Eugenie is asked how she found out about him, she confesses that her late grandfather told her about it. In the morning, her mother informs her that she and her father have to go to the neighboring estate again. She asks the girl to behave decently, and at this moment her eyes begin to water. Eugenie, noticing this, calms her mother down, thinking that she is just worried about her. But without suspecting anything, the girl is going to visit. Soon, noticing a travel suitcase at the feet of her father, the girl realizes that they are clearly not going to visit. When she looks out the window, she notices mentally ill women. She understands everything. She starts to panic, but it's too late. They arrived at a psychiatric hospital. It was all arranged by her father, after her brother Theophile told him her secret. The hospital staff immediately took the girl by the hands and led her inside, and her brother could barely contain his emotions. Meanwhile, the father signed a consent form for the compulsory treatment of his daughter Eugenie. A senior nurse named Genevieve examines the girl, and immediately makes it clear that disobedience entails being in solitary confinement. Eugenie comes to the dormitory, where half of the women behave inappropriately. But, fortunately, Louise comes to the rescue, who also clearly has deviations, but it seems that this behavior is caused by treatment in this clinic. At dinner, she tells our main character about her engagement to a young doctor, Jules, and also mentions that this clinic hosts a costume ball once a year for officials and rich people. The girl can't sleep at night, and in the morning, the head nurse picks up Louise and takes her somewhere. As it turned out, this is normal here and it always happens. There are many doctors in the office where the girl was taken, including her fiancé Jules. The chief physician, Professor Charcot, begins to hypnotize Louise. As soon as she falls to the floor, he says goodbye to everyone and leaves. Later, at the medical center, the girl comes to her senses and is visited by Jules, who promises to propose marriage to her at a costume ball. Then he starts pleasuring himself and the girl. During her break, the head nurse rushes home to visit her father and tell him about what is happening at the clinic. And when she returns to work, she visits Eugenie, who communicates with her on behalf of her dead sister. But Genevieve does not believe her and asks her to shut up. After some time, the patients are examined, at which the doctor prescribes Eugenie treatment in cold water with ice. Théophile, having tracked down the head nurse, asks her to give Eugenie the book. Genevieve tells the girl about this and says that she will give her that book only on one condition. It will help her talk to her dead sister. At night, the woman wakes up Eugenie and takes her to her office, where the ritual will take place. For a long time, it is not possible to contact the dead girl, but after some time it still manages to be done. During the conversation, the sister informs Genevieve that their father has become ill in the kitchen right now. Running home, the girl finds her father. He really had an attack. When he wonders how she found out about it, she tells him everything as it is, but he does not believe her and accuses her of starting to go crazy. Meanwhile, after a hypnosis session, half of Louise's body was paralyzed. Eugenie, having witnessed what is happening, does not hold back and begins to express her opinion to the doctors, insulting them with different words. For this prank, she is transferred to solitary confinement, which is monitored by a strict woman, Jean. When a woman comes to mock Eugenie again, she tells her that she is communicating with her dead mother and knows all her secrets. Then the angry Jean grabs the girl by the throat and begins to strangle her until she has very little air left. Meanwhile, Genevieve takes the girl's side and tells Eugenie that she is going to help her escape from the clinic, but it takes a little time and patience. The head nurse convinces the head doctor that this patient is no longer dangerous, and then he gives his consent to transfer her to the general department and start preparing with everyone for the costume ball. Eugenie meets Louise, but she is already in a wheelchair, but nevertheless she is still cheerful, because she is waiting for a marriage proposal from a young doctor. At night, the girl finds a note from Genevieve, and the nurse also sent Théophile an invitation letter to the ball. It's time for the ball. Various influential people have already arrived at the clinic, including Eugenie's brother. When he meets his sister, he invites her to dance. But Jean is watching them closely, as she suspects them of collusion with Genevieve. All the guests are different. Someone laughs at the patients, and someone wants to use them to satisfy themselves and their desires, trying to get them drunk with alcoholic beverages. Choosing the right moment, Genevieve quietly brings her brother and sister to her office, where they change Eugenie's clothes in order to escape from the clinic unnoticed. Also, Jules does not waste time in vain. He takes Louise and retires with her in the office, telling her that they will get married soon, but due to the fact that the girl is paralyzed and cannot resist, he puts her on the table and performs certain actions with her. One of the most senior patients in the clinic came into the office at the time of the act and beat the guy, thereby saving Louise. Jean went in search of Eugenie and her brother. Noticing them in the hallway, she began to shout at the whole clinic. Nevertheless, Genevieve led the boys out of the building, where help was waiting for them outside the gate. But the woman decided not to run away with them, but stayed in the clinic. It's been a year now. Eugenie writes a letter in which she says that she is happy and no longer hides her ability and thereby helps other people. She sent this letter to Genevieve, who is sitting on a bench in the clinic and reading it. However, she is no longer a nurse here, but a patient. She sacrificed her freedom for Eugenie's freedom. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. There are a lot of interesting things here. Also, let me know in the comments how you like the movie.